All right, so welcome to the deep dive. We're diving into something pretty juicy today, a topic one of you listeners sent our way, all the rumors surrounding, well, Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster.
Sounds like we've got a real-life Broadway drama brewing here.
Exactly, and our main source. An article straight from OK Magazine, the celebrity scoop experts. Let's see what they've uncovered.
Okay, so the big question is
there really something romantic going on?
or is this just your typical tabloid fodder?
Well, the OK article seems to be painting a pretty romantic picture. They say Jackman and Foster are supposedly, quote, happier than ever.
Cozy dinners, romantic walks. They even mention they can't wait for this next chapter.
They really make it sound idyllic, don't they?
They do. But this is where things get interesting and a little messy. The article points out...
With a timeline.
Exactly. Jackman and Foster, co-stars in The Music Man.
From December 2021 to January 2023.
Right. Then Jackman and Deborah Lee Furness, they announced their split in September 2023.
And Foster files for divorce from her husband just a year later in October 2024.
So yeah, that timeline definitely raises some eyebrows.
It does. And then there's that detail that, well, it might make you gasp. The article quotes a source.
Someone claiming people involved in the Music Man production. They knew about the alleged affair before Deborah Lee Furness did.
Whoa, if that's true.
Talk about intrigue, right?
Makes you wonder what was happening backstage while Furness was out there in the audience. A real plot twist.
It really does make you think. And as if things couldn't get juicier, there's gossip blogger Tasha Lustig. She posted about Jackman and Foster on Instagram recently, claiming Jackman blindsided his ex-wife.
And even hinting at a public reveal coming soon. A soft launch, she called it.
Good catch. That's a social media term, basically hinting at something new, in this case, a relationship.
So they're slowly revealing their romance to the public.
That's the suggestion, and here's the kicker. Amanda de Cadenet, a close friend of Furness, she commented on Lustig's post, seemingly confirming the rumors. Even mentioned Furness having a glow-up soon.
Oh, wow. So multiple sources adding fuel to the fire. You think there could be some truth to these insider hints?
It's definitely possible. But we always have to remember we're dealing with anonymous sources, interpretations of social media. So a healthy dose of skepticism is never a bad thing.
True, true. But it's hard not to get swept up in it all.
Oh, for sure, especially with that timeline. All these whispers from people in the know. Classic case of trying to separate fact from fiction.
That's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. What stands out to you so far? What feels credible? What feels like a stretch?
That's a good question. Honestly, it's the timeline that gets me. The alleged affair supposedly starting during The Music Man, then the divorces. It's hard to ignore that sequence of events. How about you? Any details that resonate with you?
I think, yeah, the timeline is the most compelling for me, too. The fact that the alleged affair started during The Music Man and then those divorces followed soon after. It's hard to ignore that sequence of events. What about you? What details resonate with you?
You know what I find really intriguing? The reactions of those allegedly in the know. Those involved in the Music Man production. Those close to Furness. Their supposed knowledge of the situation, it just adds another layer to this whole thing.
It's like we're getting a peek behind the curtain, seeing those whispers and rumors swirling around in those circles.
Exactly. And you can't help but wonder, what was the atmosphere like during that Music Man run? Was there tension? Was it an open secret? We may never know.
Oh man, now you're really making me wish I had a time machine. But for now, I guess we'll just keep piecing the puzzle together.
That's right.
So back to that OK article. They mentioned Jackman and Foster having those cozy dinners, romantic walks in New York City.
And there are quotes from those sources, claiming they're 100% together, in love, even planning to spend the rest of their lives together. That's a pretty bold statement, isn't it?
It is. But are these sources really reliable? And if they are, why all the secrecy?
Right. Why not just confirm the relationship?
Yeah, why not?
That's the million-dollar question. What do you think? What could their motivations be for keeping things hush-hush?
Well, they are both going through these high-profile divorces, maybe trying to be sensitive, avoid any unnecessary drama. Plus, imagine the media frenzy if they went totally public.
I mean, that's a valid point. The media attention would be crazy, especially given, everything surrounding their alleged relationship. Maybe they're just prioritizing their privacy, their emotional well-being over, public perception.
Yeah, you're right. And maybe they just want to savor this newfound happiness without the constant glare of the public eye.
It's certainly understandable,
Yeah.
but it does make you wonder if and when they'll decide to address all these rumors head on.
Yeah, definitely. But I think this is a good place to pause. We've laid the groundwork, explored the timeline, gotten a taste of that social media buzz.
Absolutely. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still more to uncover. What happens next for Jackman and Foster? Will they continue this under-the-radar approach, or will they step into the spotlight as a couple? We'll explore those questions and more when we return for part 2 of our deep dive. Welcome back to our deep dive into this whole Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster saga.
We're back.
Last we left off, we were talking about Jackman and Foster maybe keeping things quiet to, avoid all that media scrutiny.
Right. And maybe protect everyone's feelings during the divorce proceedings. But there's something I keep thinking about. It's Deborah Lee Furness. How the OK article mentioned she actually liked Tasha Lustig's Instagram post, the one hinting at the soft launch, remember?
Oh yeah, that detail is definitely curious. It's almost as if Furness is aware of the rumors and sort of acknowledging them, even if indirectly.
It's like she's giving a subtle nod to the whole situation, isn't it?
Right. And then there's Amanda de Cadenet, Furness's close friend, commenting on that same post, talking about Furness having a glow-up soon. It's like there's this sense of support, maybe even a hint that Furness is moving on.
It makes you wonder what their private conversations are like, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Are they discussing the rumors openly? Is Furness hurt? Or is she genuinely happy for Jackman?
We can only speculate, but it seems clear that, those close to Furness, they seem to be aware of what's going on, and they're rallying around her.
Speaking of moving on, that OK article really emphasized how excited Jackman and Foster supposedly are. About their future together, I mean.
Oh, yeah. They quoted a source saying 100% together, in love, and want to spend the rest of their lives together. A pretty strong statement.
It is, but we talked about those anonymous sources. There's a lot of, smoke here. And the timeline definitely adds fuel to that fire.
It does.
So if they are really serious, what do you make of their decision to keep things quiet, under wraps?
I think it's a strategic move. Public perception is incredibly powerful, especially in Hollywood. By delaying any official announcements, they might be trying to control the narrative a bit, let the dust settle from their divorces.
So it's less about hiding the relationship, more about choosing the right moment to reveal it.
On their own terms.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's about navigating a delicate situation, minimizing damage.
Right. And they are high-profile figures, careers to consider.
Exactly. Public perception can have a big impact, so they're probably weighing both personal and professional consequences.
Once you appreciate the challenges of fame, doesn't it? Even a romantic dinner becomes front-page news.
Doesn't it? It highlights that constant tension between privacy and public image, something celebrities have to deal with all the time.
So we've talked about the possible reasons for their silence, but do you think this will last forever? Will there be a moment when they just decide, okay, time to go public?
It's hard to say for sure. Maybe they're waiting for the perfect project, a red carpet premiere, perhaps. Or maybe they'll just choose to keep their relationship private.
And let their actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
Either way, it'll be interesting to see how things unfold. But for now, can we circle back to that detail about people involved in the Music Man production, the ones who supposedly knew about the affair before Furness did?
Oh, yeah. That really adds a whole other layer to everything, doesn't it? It's like this whole behind-the-scenes drama we can only imagine.
I know, right? Imagine those whispers, the side-eye glances, the awkward encounters. It must have been so strange knowing this was going on beneath the surface.
It makes you think about a world where those personal and professional lives collide in a very, dramatic way.
It really does. It even makes you wonder about, the ethics of knowing such a secret.
The ethics.
Like, would you feel obligated to tell Furness? Or stay silent, protect your job, not get involved?
That's a tough one. There's no easy answer. It brings up questions of loyalty, discretion, those complexities of navigating personal relationships in a professional setting.
It does make you think. But honestly, how much weight do you give to that claim that people involved in the Music Man really knew? Could it be tabloid exaggeration?
It's possible.
Well,
It could be embellished for dramatic effect. But remember, the OK article isn't our only source here. We also have Tasha Lustig's post and Amanda de Cadenet's comment, both suggesting these rumors have been around for a while.
right. It does seem like there's a lot of chatter, both online and within certain circles. which sort of supports the idea that this wasn't just a sudden revelation.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder how much truth there is to those whispers and how much is just speculation, gossip fueled by, well, more gossip.
It's like that game of telephone. The story gets passed around, details added or changed, and who knows what the original message even was.
Exactly. And that's the challenge with celebrity news, separating fact from fiction.
Keeps us on our toes, though. Always questioning, analyzing, trying to form our own conclusions.
That's the essence of critical thinking these days. But speaking of information, there's another detail from that OK article that I found interesting. It mentions how supportive Jackman and Foster are of each other's careers and projects.
Oh, right. Like attending each other's shows, gushing about each other's talent in interviews.
Exactly. And that public support could be seen as another little hint, another layer to their soft launch strategy.
It's like a coded language, isn't it?
It is. They're communicating something. But it's up to us, the audience, to figure out the message.
And that's what makes this story so interesting. We're left to interpret, analyze the clues, draw our own conclusions.
Like detectives.
Right. But I think we've done some good detective work so far. Unpack that timeline, analyze the sources, even explored those possible motives.
Absolutely. We've covered a lot. But just like any good mystery, there are still unanswered questions.
There are.
Oh, yeah. What happens when that soft launch becomes a full-blown public announcement? How will their exes respond? And how will this impact their careers in the long run? We'll delve into those questions and more when we return for the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Feels like we've been on this Jackman and Foster roller coaster for ages, but here we are.
The final act.
Exactly.
We've examined the evidence, those social media breadcrumbs, even, those ethical dilemmas this whole situation throws up.
Right. It's been a journey, but now it's time to bring it all together.
Time to connect the dots.
One thing I keep coming back to, it's the reaction of, well, everyone close to the situation, those involved in The Music Man, Amanda de Cadenet, even Deborah Lee Furness herself.
Their responses, or lack thereof, it's really interesting, isn't it? It's like they're all tiptoeing around it, giving those cryptic hints, but no real confirmation, no denial.
Like they're in on some elaborate dance.
Oh, absolutely. Keeping us guessing while also, fueling the fire.
It's all about the intrigue, the suspense.
Right. We're left reading between the lines, trying to decipher their every move.
And you can't help but wonder, what are they saying behind closed doors? Are they talking about this giant elephant in the room? Or just trying to ignore it all, focusing on their own lives?
Such a good question. I mean, we're only seeing that public facade, the carefully curated image.
The tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. And it makes you think about those power dynamics. Celebrities, they do have some control over their public image, but they're also stuck in this system that thrives on gossip, on speculation.
A constant balancing act, keeping their private lives private while feeding the public's need to know.
So true. And it's fascinating to see how Jackman and Foster are handling it all. They haven't flat out confirmed anything, but they're not exactly being secretive either.
It's that whole soft launch strategy.
Right. Revealing their connection bit by bit. Public displays of affection, subtle hints.
They're calling the shots, releasing information at their own pace. But where does it end?
What's the end game? Will they ever go fully public?
Big announcement, joint interview maybe?
It's possible. Or maybe they'll stick with actions speaking louder than words, living their lives. No need for big declarations.
It's their story ultimately, and we're just here along for the ride.
Observing, analyzing.
Speculating.
Of course. But before I wrap up, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier. Those ethical questions this situation raises.
Oh, right. People knowing about the alleged affair, maybe keeping it from Furness.
Makes you think. Loyalty, discretion, how messy personal relationships can get, especially in a professional setting.
Imagine being in that position, knowing something that could hurt someone but feeling like you have to stay silent.
To protect your job, not get dragged into the drama.
It's a real dilemma.
It is. And a good reminder that even seemingly simple situations can be so complex.
Right. Multiple perspectives, hidden motivations.
It's about embracing the gray areas.
The unknowns. The things we can't possibly know.
Absolutely. And approaching it all with empathy. Understanding that we're only seeing a piece of the puzzle.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to leave it.
I think so too.
We've explored those rumors, the evidence, the ethics of it all.
The timeline, the motivations, those coded messages.
But ultimately, the story's still unfolding. It's up to everyone to form their own opinion.
Exactly. And as always, stay curious, stay engaged.
Keep those deep diving minds sharp.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us on this wild ride.
Until next time.
Keep exploring.